Hello and welcome to another episode of the Best You interview series. It's Gary here again. Thank you very much, as always, for taking the time to tune in to this episode. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Clarity Catalyst coach Silja Paulus, who is here to discuss how you can move from overthinking to action and achieve clarity in 3 steps. Silja spent over 10 years as an athlete, firstly as a long-distance runner and later as a competitive bodybuilder, and as a result knows firsthand that transformation is about more than just physical strength. It's about mental resilience, discipline, and creating an identity that powers success in every area of your life. Silja's athletic journey, combined with her certifications as a Mindvalley Holobody, 10x fitness and business coach, gives her a unique approach to unlocking personal growth. Silja specialises in helping individuals identify what's holding them back, dismantling their limiting beliefs, and kickstarting meaningful change. Her mission is to act as a catalyst for action, providing clarity and momentum for those ready to step into their next level. Silja, it's an honour to have you on the show today. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. And I'm super happy to still be awake as a morning person because, you can see my eyes are very, very open because I feel that I'm in the right place. So whenever I'm talking about change and shifts and being a catalyst and being a coach, and whenever I can inspire people, I can even stay awake just to give my best. Because I feel that there's a lot that I can say, and I really love talking about change, even if I'm like half asleep. So that's why I'm here with you today.
I love it. I love it. I'm very, very happy that you are here. So let's start with describing your journey that took you to becoming a coach and pursuing the opportunity to help people reach new levels in their lives. I mentioned a little bit in terms of your athletic journey. Tell me more.
Yeah, so in 2010, when I ran my first marathon, I was just doing this just because I was like, okay, I just want to try how it feels like. And then I started doing more and more marathons. And then I started like figuring out that actually I can get very, very fast if I get like a professional coach for myself. So I stepped into this. And at the same time, my interest in nutrition got very deep. So in 2015, actually already 10 years ago, I started to study to become a nutritionist. So before ever I was a coach, I was already a nutritionist. Back then, me and my ex-husband, we had a business about physiotherapy, and I was also a massage therapist. So I was already kind of like in this business with people. I was an athlete myself. I was also giving massages. So I was kind of like a website manager, accountant, the secretary, whatever. I was doing everything in the company and also doing some translations and then giving massages because I also had this diploma. And actually, even if somebody is on the massage table, very often they're kind of naked. I'm giving them a massage. They are relaxing on the body level. Very often they actually started talking. And even complete strangers, they just open up on the massage table. So if you want to get somebody's secrets, just learn how to do massage, become good at this, and get the person on the table, and they will relax and open up. Of course, you have to like kind of sense as well how much is the right pressure, because if you hurt them, they will be tense and they will tell you no secrets. But if the pressure is like just enough, they will also start telling you a lot of different things about their lives, even if you don't ask. So I was already talking to people, listening to them, and I kind of like started realizing that actually, yeah, I also like to talk to people. And at the same time, I became a nutritionist. So I was also working with people's nutrition. And everything was just gradually building up, building up. Then at some point, I switched from running to bodybuilding. I got a divorce. So life was also turning around quite a lot. And I guess I was actually working in IT, so there was another pivot in the middle of all that. So I studied IT. I wanted to have more stable, flexible job, because in IT you can work very flexible hours and get very good money. And I was just excited about this opportunity. So I went into IT, and while I was in IT, I kind of got lost on the Mindvalley website. I stumbled upon the Holobody masterclass or something. I watched it. I checked out the website. So Holobody is about the holistic approach to the body. So you consider all the different parts of a person, the nutrition, the sleep, the movement, even like social connections, like relationships, because everything is connected to your body and your well-being. And when I found out this Holobody thing and I read the description and I saw the masterclass, I was like, oh my God, I want this. And it was like one day to apply to get into the program. I was like, okay, I really want this. I had this very strong knowing that I want to be in that. And at this point, I was also, so I started the Holobody in August and I had my first ever bodybuilding competition in October. So I was already very strongly connected to my own body. I have put my body through very difficult preparation time because, you know, when you're running, you're just okay. You are training or running, you have the racing season, you have the rest season, off season. But if you're bodybuilding, at least half a year, your body will be like in energy deficit. Your body mass is going down, your fat percentage is going down, you get the brain fog and all these things. And at the same time, when I was in this brain fog, very deficit state, I was like, okay, I want to become a health coach as well.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like random things happening, just some things clicking into place.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was still in IT for a few years. I started coaching as a side hobby. And at some point, at my second IT job, I got really bored because I was writing technical documentation. Yes, I'm very good at writing and all the language stuff is very easy for me. But when I was always like writing documentation for casino games, I was like, what the hell am I doing? I don't want to talk about what this button does if you click it. I don't care. I care about the people. So at some point, I was even spending more time in the office kitchen because I'm also like very fast at what I do. So I was just finishing my tasks and then talking to people in the kitchen and just trying to get information out of them, asking questions like, okay, what made you happy today? And if you think about like a typical IT person and you ask that kind of question, they're like, whoa, what the hell? What do you mean? Life is bad. I want to play my video games. Go away. Don't talk to me. So this is it. But I guess it gradually kind of built. I went deeper into Mindvalley. I went to some live events. So I even went to like Dubai. I went to Colombia, South America for a big self-development festival. And I fell in love with that kind of lifestyle and that kind of like mentality and mindset, which is all about growth. And, you know, coaching is very optimistic because in coaching, you look into the future. In therapy, you handle the past, you handle the traumas and kind of the negative experiences. But in coaching, the beautiful, beautiful future. So I got very excited about all this. I did another coaching certification, which was about 10x fitness. So this is like this very quick fitness routine, basically 15 minutes twice a week in the gym. It's also possible to get fit in this way. Personally, I do longer sessions because I like to be in the gym. But for people who don't have the time or who hate the gym for some reason but still want the results, this is just one tool that I can use. So I just went down the rabbit hole, I would say. Once I got into this coaching thing, I went down the rabbit hole. And I guess for me, it's also about the community because I studied coaching through Mindvalley, and Mindvalley also has live events. So many people that I first met through Zoom when we had the coaching labs and calls and we were practicing, I also met these people in real life. And now I have them as friends. I even have them on my own podcast as guests because I just know so amazing people all over the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, the community really made me go deeper into this. So I guess this is like how I got into coaching. And after this, of course, there are many, many other stories, but basically this is how it began.
Fabulous. And it seems like everything was kind of naturally leading towards, there was certainly a lot of service in everything you were doing. You know, maybe the IT stuff, it depends how you talk about that. But in general terms, you know, being a massage therapist, you know, having, you know, a physiotherapy, you know, background or, you know, the various things that you've done, it's all about making other people are helping other people, serving in some way, at least the physical part of other people. It seems it's almost like a natural journey, not just something you just dreamed up one particular day and
No, no,
said,
no, no.
you know
And it
what?
wasn't like, I guess nowadays very often it's also like, oh, everybody's becoming a coach because
Yeah,
somebody somewhere said that this way you can get rich quick. But I never had this idea. I'm like, I don't care. I just do the things that I like to do. And if I stop liking them, then I change.
do something
That's why
different.
maybe I have like changed my jobs quite a lot because this is just my nature. It doesn't mean that I hate something
Yeah,
once I quit it, but I just fall out of love with the thing. So when I started on my IT jobs, I was like super excited. I was the biggest fan of the company. I was like, this is so cool. I got into this. Maybe I went through some kind of process very fast. And then I was already, okay, I got the thing that I had to get. Now it's time to move on. Now it's time for the next stage. And even from this point where I am right now, I have no idea where I'm going. I
yeah.
might have some kind of direction. I know that I want to write books. I want to create courses. I want to coach people. I want to do my own podcast, kind of like elevate the consciousness and help people become better versions of themselves. But this can also take so many different shapes and forms. You never know what can happen.
Yeah, and it's exciting. It's absolutely exciting. And it's a great segue. As I mentioned on your bio earlier, you have a framework from overthinking to action, clarity in 3 steps, which
Yeah.
promises individuals that can identify and overcome their mental hurdles. Can you walk us through each of the 3 steps
Hmm.
and how they do transform people to take decisive actions for their own good?
Yeah. This framework of only 3 sessions, this is also something that is super aligned with me. Because yes, I got into coaching. I've been coaching for hundreds of hours. But at some point I was like, I don't feel like holding somebody's hand for 6 months or 1 year. This is not just me. And my energy just runs out. And I'm more into this activating, catalyzing, initiating, because when we also look at this spiritual system called human design, in human design, my energy type is manifestor. So this is only like 9% of population, and manifestors are naturally the initiators and activators. So by design already, I'm meant to just initiate and activate and then step away. Then the person will, carry on themselves. So basically, in this framework, I'm the kind of person, yes, who will take the hand of this person who needs a change. But for a moment, I'm not going to hold it for 6 months. So
Yeah.
basically, we are walking to the edge of a cliff. We are looking down. We are seeing what are the different options to fly. And eventually, the person has to jump themselves. I'm not going to push them, but I can just talk to them about jumping, if it's a good thing or not, why they should do it and why not. And eventually, they will make the jump. So, first session would be about what and why. So, getting very clear about what the person wants to do. So, if somebody wants to start a business, maybe that can be the thing. Or I was also coaching somebody quite recently, and she didn't know what exactly she wanted to do next. So we were just first looking at the different options, listing down everything, getting some clarity. Okay, which one of these things is resonating the most, and which ones do we want to strike out and maybe not focus on right now? Which one of the things on this paper are like, yes, I want to do this? And then also go into the why. So in the first session, the why is also very, very important, because it's so easy to lose the motivation. It's so easy to fall out of love with whatever you're doing, even if it is super awesome in the beginning. So that's why I want to have a very strong why, which is going down to the core motivation. So if somebody says, oh, I want to lose 5 kilograms, it's not just about the numbers. Because if it was only about numbers, I would say that, okay, take this highlighter, go to your scale, write a new number on the scale. Ta-da, you have the new number, done. They don't want to see the number, they want to see what's coming with those numbers. So if somebody says, okay, I want to lose the 5 kilograms, I don't even like the word lose. I talk about releasing, because that's what I learned as a holobody coach. If you lose something, it can be found again, but we want to release forever. But
Right.
anyway, if somebody wants to go down 5 kilograms, I will ask, okay, why do you want to go down 5 kilograms? Okay, maybe I will fit into this dress again. Why do you want to fit into this dress? It makes me feel confident. Why do you want to feel confident? I will be better at work, and then you get the pay raise and promotion, and all these different things are happening. Maybe they will find a soulmate, and with the pay raise, promotion that they get, they will buy the dream house or go traveling. And it's not about the 5 kilos. Usually the first answer, the first thing that they say, like 5 kilos, this sounds even like non-sexy, but something along the way, when you start asking the whys, like traveling around the world, this can be like, oh, this is like really exciting. I want to go towards this. So that could be like the core reason that they're going towards. So what and why? That's the first session. Yeah. Then the second one, the second session is about why not. So what are all the limiting blocks, limiting beliefs, all the I can't, I haven't, I don't have the time, I'm too old, I'm too young, all these excuses. So I will actually ask people to come up with all the excuses why you can't have the thing that you defined already in the first session. Like, what can go wrong? Why not? Why not you? Why not now? So, and then we just look at these things, talk about them, and I will also ask, okay, is it like really completely true? And then we will also start looking at different ways how to rewrite this story, because it is just a story. It is just a story that you have been telling to yourself, like, I'm too old. Okay, too old for what? On my podcast, I recently talked to somebody who is 77 years old. She felt invisible her whole life. And after retirement, as 77-year-old, now she's like, okay, I'm going to become an influencer. And in some other course, I saw some 70-year-old lady becoming a yoga teacher, deciding to become financially free and rich and travel the world. So, everything is possible. It's why are you limiting yourself? You can tell yourself a better story, because your mind will believe anything and everything you tell to your mind. So it's your choice to choose. What are you going to tell your mind? Are you going to say that, oh, I can't, I not have time, I'm too ugly, I'm too skinny, I'm too fat, whatever? Or are you going to rewrite the story? You might also say, if you can't say the opposite truth yet, you can also say that I'm not there yet. I kind of like start changing it a little bit, little by little, you're getting closer. And it starts becoming more real. So I really want to challenge the stories that people are telling themselves and ask, okay, why are you telling yourself this story? Do you really want to limit yourself? Do you really want to like be stuck here forever? And this can be like quite heavy session. But once this is done, we can go into the first steps. So the third session is about like the why, like the how. And okay, what will be the first like power move? How do we move on from this? What can you do like already today? And how can you start the journey? What's like this one powerful thing? So if somebody wants to release the weight, they might kind of like sign up for the gym, get the program, and start doing something. So what and why not, and how? So this is how people start going. And also, because I'm just initiating and activating, some people might say that they need like more support. Luckily, like I said, community is very important for me. Network. I have so many amazing coaches around me who can take your hand and hold it for the next 6 months or 1 year. So if you need additional help, I can just refer you to some other amazing people for breathwork, for fitness, for nutrition, whatever. And if you need to start something else, come back to me. But we are only starting stuff here.
Yeah. I really do appreciate how specific you are in terms of this is where I will take you from and to. We will activate, you will have more clarity, more understanding, more self-awareness, and then I can pass you on to someone else. You can go and find someone else on your own if you like. But my job is to raise awareness, evoke awareness, as we say in the coaching industry, to give you that opportunity to then move on. Because I know there are more than likely a lot of coaches out there that can say, I will do the whole thing. I will take you
Yeah.
from end to end, and I can do everything. And they might be able to do that, but their level of expertise, their level of concentration, the level of energy and investment in you might waver over time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you have enough sense of self where you're saying, you know what, this is the absolute best of me that you will get if we do this 3-step process, and then you can go on and work with other people to get you that. And when it's time to start something new, come back again. That's the real genuine value. I don't see a lot of people being so genuinely focused on this is where you will get the greatest benefit from me.
Yeah, this is new for me because before that I was also doing a lot. I was doing longer coaching programs. I still have like this one client who has been with me 1.5 years, and
Yeah.
now he wants to run a marathon. So I'm using my running background. He
Yeah.
ran the half marathon last year, and now he wants to do the full marathon. And he's like very, very persistent, and I'm just going with him. But sometimes I'm also like super tired. I'm like, oh my God, we've been talking so much. What the hell am I going to tell him this time? Okay, we look at the results, we look at what he has been doing. So he's also like this classic Estonian man who doesn't talk much. So I have to do
Right.
most of the talking. So very often I'm like, okay, what the hell will I tell him today?
Yeah.
Let's find some new kind of angle. So I feel that my energy is best spent when I just initiate. And that's also connected to my human design. Like I said, I'm the initiator activator.
Yeah.
And this actually happened like in the beginning of this year, January.
Yeah.
I went to Miami. I flew all across the ocean from Europe to Miami for a workshop with Adam Roa, who is also like a coach, a motivational speaker. And I went there because I was also in his challenge in which I wrote my book for manifestos in human design. So I really love to be in his energy. And he had a workshop about being the most authentic version of you, the art
Yeah.
of being you. And I went with this intention to kind of get some clarity myself, to figure out, okay, what the hell do I want to do with all the things that I do? Because it's like translations and writing and courses and coaching and running and so I know many, many things, and dance therapy and massage. And it's like, if I start listing them, I'm like, oh my God, why do I know so many things? Okay,
Yeah.
because I'm just excited about so many things. And I didn't know how this was going to play out. But at the end of this workshop, which is actually about being on the stage, being the authentic version of you, I had to speak out my vision. And I talked about being the catalyst, being the initiator, taking full power, just stepping into my own power and not being afraid of this anymore. Because after my divorce, I also got a little bit burnt because of this catalyst power. So I kind of became the catalyst for many, many men that I dated. So maybe they spent a few months with me, and they were telling me, oh no, I don't want anything serious. And then suddenly, after spending some time with me, oh, now I'm having a relationship with this other woman here. I'm like, what the hell just happened? Or they went back to their exes. I'm like, okay, what's happening? What about me? Why I'm just initiating all these things unconsciously and stuff is happening. So I guess I was also a little bit afraid to fully use my power. But
Right.
as I also spoke on the stage in Miami, I can create life,
Yeah.
like literally, because this is also one of the stories that I've been telling, and it's a true story. Because at some point I was also dating one guy when we didn't really click completely. Now we're just friends, and he's married to my best friend.
Oh,
Because
wow.
they would have never met because he's this kind of bodybuilder guy. My best
Yeah.
friend is not the bodybuilder type. And because I was in the middle of them, I was kind of like connecting them. They got married very fast. They had a child. They are super happy. They're like the very inspiring couple who go to therapy before problems arise.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, I just created life.
Yeah.
I put these people together and they had a family.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm actually powerful. I should own my power. So in Miami on the stage, I owned my power and I said it out loud that I will stop asking, what about me? I just step into my power and trust that everything will be fine. I won't be hurt. I will be just super happy whatever is happening. And once the workshop was over, I was just walking to the supermarket the next day morning to buy some eggs, and poof, everything clicked. Oh, clarity, catalyst, 3 sessions, do. And after this, I got back home. I started building a new website. The Dragon Flow, which is also linked here, is full of dragons because I'm also born in the year of the dragon. And dragons are very powerful. They're also these mystical, mysterious creatures who have a lot of fire inside and who can really, fly high.
Yeah.
So everything just clicked in place. I didn't have clear intention how it's supposed to be happening. I just trusted this strong feeling that, yes, I want to go to Miami for this one event. It doesn't make sense flying all over there, but I want to go. And everything just clicked in place. And now I'm like, oh my God, this is it. At least for now. With me, you never know. I might change so fast.
Yeah. That's such a powerful story. And what I could imagine, not what I could imagine, actually, what I could feel there was your energy was lifting. The more that you were telling that story, using literal real life world examples for you, and possibly experiencing it slightly differently in the moment, but then over time realizing that's my journey, that's my calling, that's my path. I didn't know that's what it was at the time, but everything all manifests itself on your egg run when you're thinking eggs for breakfast, and then actually this is a life-altering moment where I get the opportunity to go and actually do something that's meaningful for me, for Silja, of course.
Yeah. And also, when we go back to human design, based on my human design chart, my brain is passive. So the things click into place and I'm not actively trying to push. So if I'm just sitting at the desk and trying to brainstorm, like forcing it, it's not happening. But if I'm just, just walking on the street, it's like possibilities click together. And it's like, oh my God, yes. So this is how I usually get my best ideas. And even when I used to be a long distance runner, I got so many good ideas while I was doing the long distances. And nowadays, when I'm just walking to the gym or just walking out, sometimes when just walking, I'm not focusing on anything, and boom, I'm like, oh my God, this is such a good idea. Ooh.
Yeah. And you have to be open enough. You have to be aware enough to be receptive to that information when it's coming your way, and not just to kind of discount it as a random thought or something like that. I run too. I don't run marathon distances. Mostly it's between 5 and 10K, 2 or 3 or 4, 3 or 4 or 5 times a week. But I have that similar experience where for me, it's almost like a cleansing of anything that's just nonsense in my head. Seems to just, okay, this is time to get rid of that, to not to lose it, of course, because I might find it again, but but to then create space for some deeper thinking that will allow me to say, I've been thinking about that differently or wrongly, or that's not serving me, or that's not helping me move forward. So then typically, honestly, probably about 50%, maybe even more of the runs that I do, especially outside, I have that opportunity where I come back and I'm typing something into my phone or I'm writing something down to say, think about this more, do more research on this, stop doing that, start doing that. So I genuinely, absolutely resonate with that too. So one of the things that we talked about earlier, or certainly I talked about in terms of your bio, was the dismantling. And I love that word, because dismantling to me is a positive word. I use it as, you're deconstructing something to be able to reconstruct something else at some point. I know there could be a negative connotation to it. That's not the way that I typically take it. But dismantling people's limiting beliefs, what does that mean to you, and how do you do that?
Yeah. I also feel that sometimes you need to destroy a little bit so you can rebuild and build like a better version of you. And limiting beliefs, like I said before, I keep like asking, okay, first, please write out all the reasons why you can't, or why you don't, what you don't have, all the reasons why it's not possible for you. And even like sometimes when you write them out, you start looking at these, it's like, this is like ridiculous. This is maybe in your head, it sounds like a valid reason, but when you write it out and then you say it loud to me, it's like, what the hell? Do I really think about this? And then I also like ask them to repeat it, ask them to like, okay, but maybe you can just find evidence that it's the opposite. Or has it always been like this? And also maybe, sometimes the limiting beliefs, they used to protect us in the past when we were not ready, or maybe as a child, you needed this protection. You were too young to do something. So you had to have this belief that, okay, I'm too young for this or that. I'm not ready. And maybe at that point it was valid. And now you're like, you have evolved, you have grown, you are a completely different person. And now you can do so much more. So it's like, okay, is it still true? And when did it serve you? When did it help you? And maybe you don't need this protection anymore. Maybe you're already magnificent and strong on your own. So let's start finding some kind of evidence from your life. Let's start finding some evidence that you are doing so much better.
Yeah.
So if somebody says that, oh, I don't have time, okay, where do you use your time? So this, I don't have time, this is more like about priorities for me. And if you start looking at how people spend their time, you have time for this, you have time for scrolling very often. You have, so if somebody says, I don't have time to work out, so do you have time to be sick? Do you have time to suffer? And if you actually were healthier, you would also be like so much more productive, because like, once again, like holobody, holistic view of the person, if your health is amazing, you will be amazing in all areas of life, because you can just achieve so much more, so much faster, more efficient. You will be, performing at an optimal level. And this way, actually, you will win time, even if it means kind of, I don't even want to say, sacrificing some of your precious work time right now for exercise. It's not sacrificing, because the return is higher. You will get more productivity. So kind of, trying to find this evidence, how you can start changing and really like questioning, and finding like other ways. And also, okay, what do you want to be? Who do you want to become? Do you really want to be this whiny, complaining person? Possibly that kind of people, they wouldn't even come to me. Because I'm just, no, you're not here to complain. I don't allow that. You're here to be this best, or like most awesome version of you. Not like this complaining, whiny, whatever.
Yeah. And a lot of times what I find is that you have to start initially with the beliefs, the overall beliefs. And a lot of people don't spend the time genuinely sitting down and saying, what is it I believe? Before you even get to whether it's limiting or empowering, what is it I believe? And why
values, core values. That's also like a good point.
Yeah. And then, once you start to get used to that type and style of self-questioning, self-work, and deeper learning, then you can say, okay, is that serving you? If not, why not? What would be a better use of your time? Because when anyone says to me, I don't have insert whatever it is here, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have energy, I don't have, my word is, well, let's substitute the word have for make and say that again. I don't make time for fitness. I don't make time for nutrition. I don't make time for health. I don't make time for me, whatever that looks like. And it's not provoking them in any way, or it's healthily challenging them to say, just use a different word. And it's okay if you don't make the time, because that was the old you. The new you is sitting here right in front of me right now, and we have an opportunity to go and create some magic in the future that's going to be serving much more of you than it has been in the past.
This actually comes back to the first step it was what, but it was also about the why. So I really want to go into the deep core why and find out what the person values and why do they want to do something. So once you get to the second step, which is about limiting beliefs, and they start like having all these excuses, I'm like, okay, but remember, you actually value health. You want to see your children growing. You want to do all these things. Remember that? So this is a place where you can reconnect to the previous session and connect to the why, connect to the core reason, core motivation, and just, okay, but if you are the kind of person who values their health, like you said, like you told me like yesterday, why don't you make time for exercise? Why don't you make time for sleep? And if you say you don't have time for exercise, I have the 10x fitness. This is like 15 minutes twice a week, or you can even do it 10 minutes twice a week if you are fast enough. So if this is possible, then you can make time for that. And I guess that was today when I was listening to Mel Robbins' podcast, and she was talking to some psychologist or something like this, and this guy is doing like 5 minutes of strength exercises, body weight, in the morning in his kitchen while his coffee is brewing. So whatever it is, he just does something for 5 minutes, and he's in a very good shape. So it's like, and when he finishes this 5-minute workout, the coffee is ready. So he also gets the reward immediately. So everybody can find a way, even the busiest people. And very often when you look at the busiest people in the world, all these people who are successful, they make the time. And they are like 100 times busier than the typical person who will come to see me, for example. These people are like flying all over the globe, doing crazy things, building some big, massive companies, and they make the time. It's like, what's wrong with you?
And they hopefully they would know the consequences of not making the time, and if they don't, as you said earlier, do you have the time to be sick? Do you have the time, to have a hard time at some point in the future? You're going to experience something. Now, whether you push it down the road and then experience the incapacitation of you, or you say, I'm going to do this incremental practice on a daily, regular basis, whatever the cadence is, as you go forward, to avoid or at least minimize the implications or possibility or implications of health challenges down the road. Most people, I imagine, can kind of conceptualize that, but not everyone is going to act on it. People are saying, I need to do this thing now. I don't have the time right now, to use the phrase we've been using, and it's just going to be what it's going to be. I'll deal with that sometime down the road. My question then to those people is, how do you think older, wiser Silja is going to think about and feel about you when you lamp her with all this stuff in the future to say, you're going to have to deal with this now? I don't think she's going to be very pleased. She's going to think back and say, thanks very much for that. Like, what did I do to deserve this? I'm trying to do my best here. So there's different ways to get different things from different people, of course, as you move forward. So in terms of, this is, of course, the Best You interview series podcast. And with that, what is one regular practice that you employ, Silja, that enables you to become the best version of yourself as you move forward?
I would say that for me, gym is a very big part of my identity. So largely I identify as an athlete. So nowadays I go 4 times a week, and then I like run twice a week. I don't run as much as I used to because my gym sessions are really like killer ones. I have this high performance coach from Argentina, this big, strong guy, and he's really pushing me because I asked him to do that. So I'm not the kind of person who's going to go to the coach and say, oh, please give me this easy program that will, make me super fit, but, with minimum effort. I'm like, okay, give me the hard stuff. I want to do the hard stuff. I want to lift the heavy weights, and I want this to be hard. And I got it. So for me, even if I don't want to go, I still go. And it's not about motivation for me, because I would say that motivation is like an emotion. It's coming, it's going, it's fluctuating. And if we were led by motivation, I would say that most people wouldn't just even get up in the morning because it's like, oh, I don't feel like it today. I'm just going to lay in bed the whole day. but there's something more, something part of your identity telling you that I'm not the kind of person who will lay in bed the whole day. And in my identity, I have this, okay, I'm an athlete. Even if I don't want to go, I get dressed, I get up, I go, I do it. And usually, like, even after the first exercise, which I might hate, I will feel better. I'm like, oh, this is actually good. And some of the best trainings have been the ones that I didn't want to go to. I'm like, oh, this is going to be so bad, so hard. You do the first exercise, actually this weight was easier to move. Okay, let's continue. And in the end, it's like, oh my God, personal bests every day. So for me, gym is super important. I've been in bodybuilding for kind of 5 years for now. And it's not just about the physical exercise, it's also about mentally feeling good, also feeding my emotions, balancing me, and just kind of feeding my identity as well and reaffirming that yes, I am an athlete, I lift the heavy stuff, I put 170 kilos on the hip thrust and I move it. So I like this kick-ass feeling as well. And I like the fact that I'm doing something that is harder than the regular kind of training.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing.
Very, very powerful, literally and figuratively. And, has there been one occasion in your life ever where you've kind of dragged yourself to the gym or dragged yourself outside for a run that you've regretted it afterwards? You've said, I wish I didn't do that.
I guess when I was prepping for bodybuilding stage, I might have pushed myself sometimes at a time when it was actually more reasonable to push the workout one day later.
Right.
But yeah, I think there was maybe one time in the last 5 years that I actually did a few exercises. I felt so sick, so bad that I just left. I had some kind of virus or something. I'm usually not ill at all. All the viruses, they don't want me.
Yeah.
Because I also decided I am healthy. I'm never sick. So I am almost never sick.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
But usually I don't regret. This is a very rare occasion.
Yeah.
And it's more like I get itchy when I can't train for 3 or 4 days. I'm like, okay, for some reason, maybe my trainer is telling me to have small rest period. I'm like, for me, I have to be ordered to rest rather than to train. Right. I'm the opposite kind of person.
Yeah. And that must be a trainer's dream, because sometimes it's the opposite. Many times it would be the opposite. You're coming back, aren't you? You're going to do this, aren't you? You're going to stick to the plan. And the people are like, yes, I am. And they have no idea whether they are or they're not. Whereas you're the opposite. You're saying, push me, give me more. You have to tell me to rest because I typically won't. And, unless there's obviously extreme examples in and around that. Silja, this has been a fabulous conversation. And I love, back to what I said earlier, I love your sense of self, your absolute clarity in where you fit in people's ongoing wellness journeys. As this is where you'll get the best bang for your buck here. I really commend you on doing that. That's a fabulous thing to be able to communicate that very clearly to people, to say this is the role that I will play, this is when, and this is how you can take things from here. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Before I let you go, where can people find out more about you?
Yeah, they can basically go to my website, which they can guess also see here, the trackandflow.biz. Yeah. Also find me on Instagram, Silja_PS. So it's like abbreviation of my last name. Yeah. And if you want to listen to me more and listen to me having cool conversations, I also have my own podcast, Shift Happens, Catalyst Conversations. Actually, just recently I recorded an episode with a friend who is in Japan. And he's like a true inspiration story, for example. So before he became a coach, he was also like overworking, doing too much, and he wasn't stopping, even if the doctors were telling him to stop because his body was giving up. And then he had an accident at work, and he had to like give up his right leg. So now he has like a prosthetic leg, and after this, he became a health coach. He started training So he had to have this extreme accident to get into this healthier version of himself. I have another friend who was also on my podcast in the third episode. Now he's also a health fitness coach, breathwork master. But 14 years ago, he had cancer. And that was also like a result of working too much, doing too much. So the body was kind of like screaming, come on, stop.
Yeah.
So he had to have this experience just to figure out, okay, actually I have to be more connected to my body and nourish it, train, sleep, all these things. So if you want to hear that kind of stories, you can also find my podcast. And just, I have so many amazing people around me and they're sharing their own stories. Very often they had some kind of extreme experience that put them on this journey of helping other people. But some people are just like, okay, I have always been awesome. So there are so many cool different stories. And I want to share all these stories with the rest of the world as well, because I feel that they can inspire. And of course, I love deep discussions. So basically sitting down with a friend and having a deep discussion. And oh yeah, by the way, just recording it as well and putting it out. So for me, this is fun. It brings me excitement. And that's why I'm doing it with a lot of passion.
Fabulous. Excellent. Absolutely incredible. Silja, thank you very much for your time. It's been great to chat to you today. And I'm definitely going to check out your podcast as well. It sounds like very, very interesting conversations with very interesting people. I can't thank you enough for being on the show today. Hello again. Thanks again for tuning in to this episode, and I do hope that you found it valuable and gained some insights. I do have an ask for you. If you enjoyed this podcast, I would absolutely love it if you would connect with me on my socials, and that's at LinkedIn, Facebook and YouTube. Just search for my name and do whatever it is you need to do there to follow me and stay updated with all the latest content, tips and discussions. And for any more resources that you're looking for, feel free to visit my website, garygillen.com. And while you're there, you can book a free, no obligation 30-minute coaching call directly with me through the site. Whether you're looking to enhance your performance or tackle a new challenge, I'm absolutely here to help you succeed, and I would absolutely love to hear from you. Thanks very much again, and until next time, keep pushing towards your goals and getting better each and every day, my friend.